What do you think of when you think of traditional O-gauge rolling stock? Do you have a little bit of pre-war template in mind? No, maybe not. Well, do you have something a little closer to along the lines of the early post-war short little boxcars from the post-war era? Do you have a moderately sized 6464 car from the post-war era in mind? Well, maybe even when you think of O-gauge rolling stock, you think of the good old Menards boxcar, just slightly bigger and a little bit longer than the 6464 post-war car. Good proportioned car, not too small, not too big. Or do you think of the big Goliath that is a high cube boxcar? Now, this high cube boxcar, this is a modern MTH one. This thing is absolutely beautiful, lots of details, just overall massive. But what do you guys think of? Do you think of something like a big old high cube boxcar, or do you think of a more traditional size little baby Ruth boxcar from the post-war period? Hello? Anyone there? Oh wait, hang on. Sorry, kind of can't see y'all. I got a lot of boxes in front of me. Um, yeah, the scale bug, to say the least, has bit me pretty hard. So no, unfortunately today we're not going to be looking at the good old post-war short little baby Ruth boxcar or anything like that, or even the 6464 car. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the new scale rolling stocks, such as this beautiful high cube car that has joined the collection in the recent months. Yeah, guys, welcome back to the Pgk Railway. Today, we're going to go over the bug that has bit me like no other bug has ever bit me. I did get bit by a fire ant the other day, but this is completely different. This one doesn't hurt. Well, it hurts the wallet, but it doesn't hurt physically. This has turned into a legitimate problem, is what I've come. This is the conclusion I've come to after getting out all these boxes. After only getting into the scale about early May, and yeah, I've now amassed all this. So today's video is literally just going to be me going through and showing you guys what all is new to the collection. I know you guys have seen some of this stuff before. I know for a fact y'all have seen this car before. I absolutely love this car. For the first probably month and a half that I had it, it did not leave the table, and I ended up making a little bit of room in my shelves to show off some of my high cubes. Well, I only have two of them, but I would definitely like to get more. But we're going to go over what has happened with my collection over the past few months. As you guys have probably noticed, there has been a shift in the rolling stock especially, and the motive power for the most part has been slowly changing for the past 2 years-ish, year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, so we're going to jump right on in, and I'm going to show you guys some of the new additions to the collection, and this is going to be, let's take a look at the new scale stuff that is absolutely bankrupting me, but you know what? I love it, so I guess if you're broken happy, that's all that matters, right? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, so let's jump right on in, guys, and once again, welcome back to the Pgk Railway. This is Preston. Let's get this party started. All right, so I figured we'd start with some of my favorite cars. We'll keep the little post-war Baby Ruth box car up front just for size reference. So we're going to start off with some of my personal favorite cars that I've picked up recently, and these are the 50-foot box cars. I absolutely love these things. They're a really good size. They're nice and long box cars, but they're not too long because, once again, I am using 042 and 036 curves. These are probably just as long as I would want to go. Maybe 60 foot is really where I'd max out because I have some 60-foot Rail King cars from MTH. Gorgeous car, absolutely gorgeous cars. They work great. They're a perfect fit on the table. Anything longer than that, and we'd get a little dicey on clearance with curves. But as you guys can see, we got 4 purple boxes in front of us. Can't get enough of that purple box goodness. But we're gonna start with you know what? We'll start with this one. We'll start with the very first one being the Santa Fe shock control box car. This is the one that I showed you guys earlier. I love this car. This car was actually a gift from some buddies when they came down to visit. They went to Roundhouse South and picked this up for me as a gift since I wasn't able to make it out to Roundhouse South. I believe this car was made in 2005 for the MTH Railroad Club. Awesome car. It's got the little air hoses. Man, these air hoses, I absolutely love these things. These things are addicting. It's such a small little detail, but they're just a lot of fun. Just a little detail that really helps a car pop. I absolutely love them. Yeah, you get the air hoses on the Atlas and MTH stuff nowadays. Still, Lionel still hasn't gotten onto that, which I don't know why. It's a cool little detail, and it can't really be that expensive. It's just a little teeny tiny piece of rubber, but Atlas or MTH Santa Fe High Cube box car, one of my favorites. I love the shock control design. I've been looking for a shock control car for a very, very long time, but also the semi-scale ones, it just kind of seems a little bit wrong. So that's the very first car that we're going to go with. Got to make sure these things don't want to roll away on me. Maybe. I don't know if there's any way to win. And then next up, we're going to go with the Big Blue. This is a car that I've been looking at getting for quite some time. I see these quite a bit living in CSX territory down in Pensacola and the M&M subdivision in southern Alabama. So we see these cars quite a bit. So I was one of those. I see this quite a lot. So I want to try to find one of these. Big shout out to TJ's Trains on Instagram, and I'll also link his YouTube in the description for letting me get this car from him. I believe he bought this in a collection and was going to let go of it since he already had one. Sold it to me for a really good price. I absolutely love this car. Once again, these high cubes, I'm running these things 24/7. These are some of my favorite cars. The secondhand market, unfortunately, with the high cubes is absolutely crazy, and people are asking way too much money. So TJ, once again, thank you for giving me a really good deal on this car. I greatly appreciate it. I will cherish and love this car forever. This is one of my favorites along with the other one. I need more high cubes. If you couldn't tell, I love these things. So I'll put that one over there. I don't want these cars rolling all over the place. So I got to be a little bit careful with how I put them. So now these next two, these are not high cubes. These are just standard 50-foot box cars. I like these cars. They're not as detailed. They're a little bit earlier from MTH, but yeah, we'll go with the more well-known road name first. The first one up is going to be the FEC 50-foot. I believe this was cataloged in the late 90s from MTH. After going and seeing FEC this past summer, I knew I had to get some FEC on the table. I live in Florida. FEC is a beautiful railway. They got a lot of great stuff going on over there, so I had to get some FEC and represent Florida since I am living in Florida now. But yeah, nice little FEC 50-foot box car. There is no air hoses on it. It's got a good amount of detail. Doors, of course, on all these open, but this is a great little car. Nice little addition. I love this thing. I love me my FEC, so I definitely got to get some more. I don't know how to do this. We'll see if it'll roll right there. All right, we're good. And the next one, this is another car from TJ. Once again, thank you, bud. I greatly appreciate this car. He offered this to me, offered for me to buy it from him because I live in the Panhandle, as you guys know, and this is the Port of St. Joe, Appalachian and Northern, or Apalachicola and Northern. This was a short line that ran out of the Panhandle for quite some time. I can't remember the history on it, but this is representing the Panhandle, and since I do live in the Panhandle of Florida, this was a car that when he offered it to me, I could not send the money fast enough to get a hold of this thing. This is a cool looking car. I love the silver roof and just great colors on it. Overall, 10 out of 10, great car. All these cars are, I'm a sucker for the MTH stuff. It's just, I like the build quality of it. The trucks are great. The couplers are always reliable. Some great stuff here. But yeah, so that is the first 4 cars that I have picked up. These are some of the box cars. I say some. I have an addiction to box cars, obviously. I have way too many of them. But these are the first 4, as you guys can tell, compared to the good old post-war Baby Ruth box car. These things are quite gigantic. But yeah, so these are the first 4 cars. We'll get into the next few right in a moment. All right, so next up, I figured we'd take a break from the box cars. I don't want to give you all of them at once and kind of spice things up a little bit. So next up, we have hopper cars. There's definitely a trend going on with a lot of smaller hoppers. I don't have any big ones yet, but we're going to start with, we got 2 Weaver ones, which, let me move these 2 cars out of the way, maybe, if they'll, okay, there we go. So, first up, we have 2 Weaver cars, 2 PS2 little tiny 2-bay hoppers. These are good cars. These are, I mean, the only issue with Weaver is a little bit light, but thankfully, Weaver took into account for that because you can take the entire top of the car off, so you can add some weights to it. But these are very light cars. Weaver cars are normally not too expensive. They're kind of overlooked by a lot of people. I mean, the trucks are a little bit questionable. They kind of pivot. I don't know how you're going to be able to see that, but they kind of, truck side frames pivot. So every once in a while you'll have wheels that don't want to roll. So you got to re-straighten those out, which I do know you can get Lionel trucks. can't remember what line of product it is, but they do use the Weaver tooling for some of their products. I know you can take the trucks off of those and put it on these so they'll roll a little bit better. But I mean, these are great little cars. My buddy, once again, I had another buddy pick these up in North Carolina for me. He said he paid like 10, 15 bucks a piece for these. Weaver cars are cheap and they're nice quality. They're very well detailed for the price. You can't really beat Weaver for the price solely, but I got to add some weights to these at some point, maybe change out the trucks. But these are some great little cars. And I guess we'll keep in theme with the little PS2 two bays. And another one that I got is a MTH one. Picked this up from my buddy Rick, someone who's local. MTH Premier, MTH Premier PS2 hopper car. I just love these little things. They work really well for mixing scale and semi-scale stuff together, or if you want to run these behind a semi-scale engine, they don't look out of place because they're a good size to be able to be mixed between scale and semi-scale. Since I have a runaway car, I'll show you guys that one next. This is a car that I've been looking at getting for quite some time, and this is a FEC rapid discharge car. Once again, I need more FEC in my collection, and these rapid discharge cars I've always thought were very unique and very cool looking cars, and I can definitely say after getting just this one, this is the only one I have, I want to do a unit train. So anytime I see these, I'm definitely going to pick them up. These rapid discharge cars are very cool. It's got a simulated rock load in it, and of course, maybe if it'll cooperate with me. There we go. But you can take the rock load out. I just have some foam in here from when it was getting shipped, just so it didn't wiggle around. But it does come with a rock load. Very cool stuff. None of these have air hoses. These two cars are early MTH, and Weaver never did air hoses. We'll get into the coup de grace. This is, I guess you could say this is the Cadillac of hoppers. This just came out. These just arrived to dealers about a month ago. This is one of the new Atlas two-bay center flows. Yeah, two-bay center flow hoppers. Seaboard system. I'm an absolute sucker for Seaboard. The more I'm learning about the railway history around me and in this area, the more I'm falling in love with Seaboard. So when I saw that Atlas was making these, of course, I had to go pick one up instantly. Great car, absolutely beautifully detailed, rolls unbelievably well. It's got the little air hoses. Another great car, and this is an ex-MTH tooled car, but I love this car. This is another one of those that's my favorite. Pretty much anything Santa Fe or Seaboard, I'm going to love it without a doubt. So another great addition to the collection. And I don't know how we're doing on time on this video, but we're going to jump right into the next one. So let's get into it. All right, here we are. This is the last little bit of actual freight cars before we get into the cabooses. And there is quite a bit of cabooses that I've picked up. It's actually insane. But so this is the last little bit of the scale rolling stock. We'll start it off simple. This was one of the first cars that I actually bought with my own money that was scale. I went to the Pensacola train show last year. There was a guy who was selling a lot of N gauge who used to have O gauge and remembered that he had one O gauge car left. And that'd be this MTH tank car right here. This is a Burlington Northern Santa Fe. Can't remember how many gallons it is. Let me look. It actually does not say. 20,000 gallon tank car, I believe. Good little car, good amount of detailing on it. It's a really nice looking car. I don't run it a whole lot just because it is BNSF. It's a little too modern for my taste, unfortunately. But I do like this car. It is a great scale car. It runs and rolls really, really great. Quite a bit of detail on it. Beautiful colors. The paint is absolutely beautiful on this, but a very nice little tank car, and this is, I think I picked this up for 15 bucks, and it had very little runtime on it. I absolutely love this car. Great deal. This is the only true scale tank car I have at the moment. I say at the moment because there will be more coming. Don't worry. Let me put that back up here. But the next one we'll get into is another Atlas. This is another brand new car from Atlas. Just came out. Another XMTH Atlas O Premier. And that would be the Burlington Northern PS2 high-sided covered hopper. Now, growing up in Chicago, I saw a lot of Burlington Northern growing up, so this Cascadian green has definitely left an impression on me. There will be a day where I get a Burlington Northern engine. I can promise you that much. I absolutely love the BN paint scheme. It's very simple, but it's a beautiful scheme. Once again, another great car from Atlas. Runs great. Has little air hoses. Has an insane amount of add-on detail. Wire handrails everywhere. Just a great car. This is another brand new one. I think this came in a month or two ago. Great car. Absolutely love it. We'll get into the one Lionel car. I know that sounds really bad, but I just like my MTH. I won't even lie with you guys. I absolutely love my MTH. I know that may not be the cool or the elite thing to do, but this was another gift from my buddy up in North Carolina. He picked this up because he bought some stuff from me and decided to use a little bit of the money that he owed me and get me a piece of rolling stock instead of giving me cash for it. So he picked up a C&O well car that has 2 cable reels in it. We're not 100% sure if this one's scale or not. Either way, cool little car. This one gives me some clearance issues on my curves, so I don't run it a whole lot, but I do run it not every now and then. It definitely hits the trees on the corner, but hey, that's okay. It's a cool looking car. I do like this car. Definitely does not get enough love. Yeah, this one's quite big compared to that post-war hopper. Here's 2 more box cars, and one of these was found at Roundhouse South. Same buddy, paying off some debt. This is actually a Train Loft exclusive, which they're up in North Carolina, I believe. But this was a Train Loft exclusive custom run box car. Once again, by MTH. Nothing too shocking right there. But this is a Seaboard Orange Blossom Special car. This is the car that really sold me on scale. Never having a scale box car before, this thing absolutely blew me away with the amount of detail. And also, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan, so I know the Orange Blossom Special was a real train on the Seaboard, but I'm also a big fan of the song by Johnny Cash. Great song, can't play it, copyright unfortunately. But this is an awesome car. I absolutely love this thing. This is probably my #1 favorite car that is scale that I have so far. I absolutely love this thing. Beautiful, beautiful car. Crazy amount of detail on it. Very crisp, crisp lettering all around. Just 10 out of 10 car. MTH hit it out of the park with this, and Jeff at the Train Loft. This was a great custom run. The more Seaboard, the merrier. We kind of don't get enough love in this hobby for Seaboard. I mean, we do get a good bit, but not enough. Not like the other class one, like the major class ones in C&O and New York Central and Pennsylvania. But another car. This came from my buddy Tom on Instagram, 3Rail Tom. He let me know that he was selling this, and once again, I had to jump on it. It's another Seaboard car, and this is another Atlas one. This is a Seaboard Airline 40-foot box car. This one is also a 40-foot car. A little bit closer to the post-war one, but still just ginormous compared to it. This is one of the silver box cars. This thing is beautiful. Once again, it's got the little air hoses. Trucks work amazing on it. It's just another beautiful, beautiful scale piece of rolling stock to add to the collection. I could not be happier with this car. But I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to get the caboose. All right, sorry about that. I did forget about one other car. I did get a Santa Fe shock control reefer car, and this did have zinc pests when I got it. The truck exploded on me, so I ended up picking up a EOT device from MTH by TJ, sorry. He sold me this one. Thank you once again, TJ, for the EOT, because these are getting hard to find, and I absolutely love this EOT. And I figured the car that had a truck that exploded would be the perfect candidate for it. Once again, another beautiful car. This is another early MTH one from the 90s, I believe. So no little air hoses on it, but still great amount of detail. I absolutely love this EOT. I'll make sure to show you guys this in action. But yeah, the scale bug has bit, and it has bit very, very hard. So now we're going to get into the caboose. All right, so I decided to put a little plain Jane post-war SP style caboose up there just so you guys can get a good size comparison. I have a serious problem with cabooses. The caboose is obviously one of my favorite cars on the train, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys watching. So I have amassed quite a good variety of these things. I don't know where to start. You know what, we'll get all. I'm a sucker for the extended vision, and this will definitely prove it. That's without a doubt. So some of these don't have boxes, so I'll get the loose ones out of the way. So the very first one that we have right here is a chassis system. These used to be considered the premier ones, and I think they downgraded them because they upgraded the tooling on the extended vision. So these are now considered Rail King scale cabooses. Still a scale caboose, awesome, great amount of detail. The newer ones do have figures in them. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that or not, but there is a little guy in there sitting in the cupola, having a cup of coffee. Got to stay awake on that long trip. But yeah, so I do have a chassis system one, and then the other loose one is this EMD demonstrator caboose. This was just a cool caboose. I picked both of these up in a lot of miscellaneous cabooses. So this one does have people sitting in the cupola having some coffee. Once again, the Rail King scale. I mean, they're still nicely detailed, just not as much as the high-end Premier ones. Still great cabooses. I absolutely love these things. These are some of my favorite cabooses, obviously, extended visions. Kind of can't beat them, in my opinion. Some of my favorites. Extended visions and bay windows are definitely my two favorite types. And, sorry, I had to make sure the microphone was on still. But, next up, we're going to save the K-Line one for last. Next up, this is a Rail King, I believe, X Premier one. This is an Alaska caboose. I can't remember the exact name of this style of caboose. I believe it's just a regular steel side. I'm not 100% certain, but this, once again, absolutely beautiful caboose. Lots of add-on grab irons. Got a little guy sitting up top. Once again, you got the antenna, you got the smokestack, all that good stuff. Just a great amount of detail for a scale caboose that is sold as a semi-scale product in the Rail King line. Absolutely killer caboose. You can't beat it. This one, I love the graphics on it. Now how should I do this? I'll show you guys this next one. Once again, another extended vision. MTH, of course. Pretty much all these are MTH except for one. So I'll start clearing these boxes off the table. But I got this one. This is a Bicentennial Frisco one. Now, I did get this for an engine that is not here yet. I did pre-order a Rail King Burlington Northern. Yes, Burlington Northern and Frisco aren't the same railway, but I did get this caboose because I got to have a matching caboose for every engine. So I figured this Bicentennial MTH Premier caboose would work perfectly. But this is what the updated tooling looks like. There's a lot more add-on detail. There's a little simulated tread down here in the porches of the caboose. I believe that's what that's called. Grab irons up top, little dude inside sipping on some coffee as well. Just a beautiful caboose. I'm very excited for that 45 to come in. I really need it to come in soon because I would love to give you guys a video of it and I'd love to have it in my hands. Anything red, white, and blue, I'm an absolute sucker for. You can't beat it. Good old Murica. But yes, this is a nice little MTH Premier Extended Vision caboose. All right. Next up, we'll get into one that I can't cover too much of just because this was a project that was in the works. This is another Rail King. I won't give you guys too much of a close-up of it, but this is another Rail King Extended Vision caboose, Rail King / scale. Yeah, you guys may not recognize this paint scheme from any prototypical railway. This is a Pgk.railway caboose. I don't want to get too much into it, so we're going to tuck that one under the table for right now. That'll come out in a video at a later date. But yes, there was a big project that happened a while ago. I'll get rid of this. So this next MTH caboose, this is my coup de grace. This is single-handedly the most I've ever paid for a piece of Premier rolling stock, even though it is a caboose. I've been looking for one of these for quite some time. As you guys know, I love my Seaboard. So here is the MTH Premier Seaboard Coastline caboose. This is one of the styles that's, I believe, an ex-Atlantic Coastline, relettered for Seaboard Coastline when they merged. This caboose was a hunt and a half to find it, and I actually found it at the Tallahassee Train Show this past summer. I was ecstatic to see it. Now, the price was, for what I normally would be willing to pay for a caboose like this, it was still really, really high, but it was one of those, I don't know if I'm going to see one again, and anytime cabooses from MTH come on eBay, they're crazy expensive, so it was one of those, I had to jump on it and I had to pick it up. So this is a Seaboard Coastline MTH Premier caboose, absolutely detailed. Once again, it's got the little air hoses. This thing, I absolutely love this thing. I do have an engine for it, but unfortunately the board is a little messed up. It's an old PS1 engine that's going to get upgraded to Proto 3 hopefully shortly. But yeah, once that gets worked out, I'll show you all that together. Now, let me show you the Cadillac of extended visions. This was bought for me. Well, I gave a buddy money when he went to a train show in Tennessee. This is from one of my good buddies, Daniel. Daniel, once again, thank you for this caboose. I absolutely love it. I normally overlook K-Line. I never realized how nice of a product they made. But boy, oh boy, let me show you this. This is a K-Line extended vision caboose. Look at the marker lights on that thing. Those are absolutely phenomenal. I love this caboose. It has got doors that open on it. Just a great solid caboose. It does have a smoke unit. I don't use a smoke unit because I know these things are notorious for melting. But as much as I love my MTH, this just beats it out of the water for the marker lights alone. I mean, it's not the same exact style of caboose, but this is above and beyond. K-Line was definitely onto something back in the day. Unfortunately, they had to go get in trouble with Lionel and go out of business. But that's a quick little look at all the new stuff that has joined the collection for scale stuff anyways. As long as I have time, I'll throw a video of all this stuff running. If not, we'll just do a scale running session. But yeah, guys, this is everything I've picked up. I have definitely amassed. You guys can see it behind me. It's almost doing a full loop on the outer loop with 042 on the table. I picked up quite a few scale cars. The bug has definitely bitten me. And here I am now sitting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scale cabooses and probably 10, 15 scale cars behind me. This is only a few months in. We might have to turn this into a little science experiment and see how bad the scale bug continues to bite me and see where I'm at in another year or even by the time Christmas comes. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I really do appreciate it. This is a quick little update that I figured needed to be done. I didn't know how to go about it, so we're just kind of going with it. If there's not videos of the trains running, actually, we'll just plan on doing a scale running session for the next video because I do have that new Atlas SD40-2 and I have a few Rail King scale engines. But guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I really do appreciate it. And as always, take care, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.